In the day's other news, the Trump administration has officially notified Congress and the United Nations that the U.S. is withdrawing from the World Health Organization, despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. But the withdrawal cannot legally go into effect for at least another year. The U.S. has previously contributed over $400 million a year to the WHO, more than any other country. Later, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, Joe Biden, tweeted that he will rejoin the WHO on his first day as president. The Democratic mayor of Atlanta said that the city does not need National Guard troops to protect it after a weekend of gun violence. Last night, Republican Governor Brian Kemp sent the troops to patrol the streets after he declared a state of emergency. We'll examine the recent spike in gun violence across the country later in the program. One person is hospitalized after a driver sped through a protest in Bloomington, Indiana, late Monday. The driver struck two people as demonstrators protested an assault on a black man at a lake over the weekend. Vox Booker said that a group of white men attacked him on July 4th and threatened to, quote, get a noose. His attorney spoke to reporters this afternoon.
I can confirm that an official investigation has been opened up by the FBI. I believe it has been approved by the United States Attorney's Office, and they are investigating this as a hate crime.
Authorities are still searching for the driver of the car that struck the two people at yesterday's protest. The FBI sounded the alarm today about the growing number of threats emerging from China. Its director, Christopher Wray, highlighted several areas of increased Beijing aggression, including targeting U.S. military technology and economic coercion. He told a Washington think tank the increase in Chinese cases at the Bureau is concerning.
We've now reached the point where the FBI is opening a new China-related counterintelligence case about every 10 hours. Of the nearly 5,000 active FBI counterintelligence cases currently underway across the country, almost half are all related to China.
Wray also urged Chinese-born people living in the U.S. to contact the FBI if Chinese officials try to force them into returning home to China. He said it is part of a Chinese coercion program designed to silence criticism of Beijing's policies. New York regulators fined Deutsche Bank $150 million for its dealings with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It is the first disciplinary action against a financial institution over business with the financier. Epstein killed himself in a Manhattan jail last August while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. At least 55 people have died in southern Japan after torrential rains and floods swept across the region. A dozen others are still missing. In some towns, floodwaters submerged cars, and the record-breaking rain triggered landslides. Meanwhile, rescue crews rushed to evacuate residents.
About 80,000 members from the police, fire department, and Japan Coast Guard are on a search and rescue mission. Our policy is saving people's lives first, and we will make our very best effort in our mission.
Some 3 million residents have been urged to evacuate Kyushu, which is Japan's third largest island. A bus crash in China today killed at least 21 people. The bus lost control and plunged into a reservoir in a southern city. It was carrying students who had just completed their college entrance exams. 15 people were injured. Back in this country, it was primary day in New Jersey and Delaware. Many voted by mail on account of the pandemic. Official results won't likely be announced until next week. Meanwhile, in Utah, the results are in from last week's Republican gubernatorial primary. Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox narrowly defeated former U.S. Ambassador and former Governor Jon Huntsman. Details emerged today about a new tell-all book written by President Trump's niece. Mary Trump, a psychologist, alleged that her uncle is a narcissist and that he paid someone to take his college SAT test for him. She wrote, quote, "No one is less equipped than my uncle to manage the current crises facing the nation." The White House called the memoir a book of falsehood. It's said to be released next week. The European Union has projected a deeper than expected recession from the pandemic. It now forecasts that the bloc's economy will shrink 8.3% this year. Meanwhile, in the U.S., stocks took a dive on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 397 points to close at 25,890. The Nasdaq fell nearly 90 points, and the S&P 500 shed 34. Still to come on the NewsHour, the debate over when to reopen schools in the fall. More people are facing eviction from their homes in the midst of the pandemic. What's driving the recent spate of gun violence across the country? And much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.